Welcome to the first Somerset Hills Oral History event. Our goal is to honor and preserve the history of the club as remembered through its lifelong members. We look forward to recording their stories and conversations so that others may enjoy and appreciate this part of the club's history. Welcome, Liz.
Well, I'm very thrilled to be here. This is fun. It's a wonderful thing to be doing for this marvelous club, and I think it's a good time, and I think it's probably about time.
It is about time. Yeah, we've gone over a whole lot of questions, but the thing that I always like to find out, what brought your family to the club?
Well, it just so happened that my family was a member of Morris County Country Club in Morristown, and I was used to going there and doing the usual. But one day, suddenly, I was going to be here, and it was because my father felt that when Morris County put in the pool, that it became more like a country club as opposed to a golf club. I know that sounds a little formal, but anyway, that's what he felt. And because the kiddies were running all around when you finished up in certain holes, and it just wasn't appealing to him that much. So we suddenly are members of Somerset, and I just moved over and life continued, and I still had made wonderful new friends and had the old friends, and life was great.
Now, vaguely, what years was the pool? When, 50s?
I want to say 48, but
okay.
I could be wrong.
Well, anyway, that end of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it just, and frankly, there was always a fight to have a pool here.
Here, I was going to say.
There were always members at board meetings that would be suggesting it. And I remember a lot of us on the B team would say, oh, we hope not, it would change it. And we, being younger girls, even felt the same way.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have to say that so far so good, and I do think that is a thing that is
But it's
good.
always come up. I remember asking my father, he said even back in the 30s, people
Yes.
said, well, we need a pool. And
Mm-hmm.
nobody could figure out really why you needed a pool, but there was talk of it.
Yes,
and they didn't. They said, nope.
Oh,
no
I
pool.
think it was probably at the last board meeting, I bet they talked about it.
You're probably right. What was your first memory of the club?
Well, interestingly enough, it was to come to a round robin here on Sunday. Annie touched on it, so I don't want to be too repetitious, but the club had a lovely, lovely Sunday lunch buffet, maybe served sometimes, but the thing to do after the lunch, though, was to go into the round robin. And Bill Banks had a wonderful, wonderful round robin whereby everybody was split up, and that really made such a difference.
So you could come by yourself. I mean, you didn't have to be a team.
No, you could just come.
Okay.
And everybody looked forward to it, all ages, and even the better players thought it was fun. And it happened to work, and it took off, and that went forever. I mean, until, well, I guess I have to be honest, it's not going on right now. But
Oh, they don't have round robins anymore?
I'm trying to think. Maybe I've missed them, but
I don't think they do, actually.
I don't think they do. I should have looked up.
Yeah.
But anyway, if they don't, it's something we might bring up again.
Yeah, no, very definitely. Yeah, you mentioned something about my sister Lisa.
Yes, Lisa was the one that brought me here for my first round robin, and we both absolutely had a wonderful, wonderful time.
Fabulous.
And needless to say, the older, better players couldn't have been nicer. They made you feel right at home, you weren't nervous, and it was a big event.
Yeah.
So that was wonderful.
That's fun. Now, who did you come with? You had family who played, or just you came and you played the sports that were here?
My father had been a very, very good tennis player. In fact, I had some charms and things that I had of his. But mostly here it was golf.
Yeah.
Absolutely golf. But and my mother did not. At that point, she was not playing tennis. So it was really, I just came, but I wasn't scared or nervous. It was just going to be a wonderful thing. So
That's
that
neat.
was a big plus.
Now, did you take lessons here? Just Bill
Oh,
Blank?
yes,
Okay.
yes. And Bill Banks was a wonderful teacher, and when he retired, Bill Sturgis was a wonderful teacher, and everybody, it was very funny, because if you didn't do something, if you did a really stupid shot, you had to go to the barn.
Go to the barn.
Go to the barn. And that was, you had to run down and run back to the barn that was at the beginning of the driveway.
Oh my
and
God.
of course that became such a joke with people about going to the barn and the whole thing. It just made it more fun.
I love it.
It
Oh,
really
that's
did.
great.
It was great. So
I missed that. I didn't get.
you didn't know about the barn?
No, because Bill Banks was there, but then I guess I, age-wise, wasn't doing any more of the round robins or whatever. But
Yes, yes, I can see that.
anyhow,
I can see
let's
that.
go to the barn. I love it. Now, clinics, club team. How did you get involved with that?
Well, they started, I don't know exactly what year it started, but they did have an A and a B team, and then they added a C team, and I think they added a D team.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was dying to play. And quite frankly, it was an awful lot of fun. It was a whole way of life. Your Monday was practicing for Tuesday, and we went all over the state. We went down to Manaloking, Bay Head, and Rumson was a big one because they had the grass
Yeah,
the way we did.
right.
And that was a big drawing card. And I don't know, it just, and then we went locally, Roxidicus, and Field Club was a big one.
So Roxidicus was up and running at that point.
Not in the very beginning.
No, okay.
No, I have to be careful. They were probably not. They were a later.
Okay, yeah. I'm just trying to fit it into
No, but you're right about
my
that.
memory.
They didn't start out. They
Yep.
weren't in existence. But
Now, am I correct in remembering if you went to Seabright, is that on the beach? You could go swimming in the ocean
yes,
afterwards?
yes, we
Because that was a
could.
big deal.
It was, well, it was about a 3-minute ride.
Okay, but it was,
And we'd all bring our suits and have lunch, and it was a whole day,
yeah.
and a very lovely one. So there were a lot of benefits to being involved with the BT.
But now, there must have been other clinics or something, because obviously I wasn't on the ladies' B team,
No.
but we went to do something inter-club. So maybe it was
Maybe
maybe there were tournaments, I can't remember. Because we went down with our gang, and we were playing against Seabright or Rumson or whatever it was, and we'd be there for the day. But, so they must have had different
You
events.
probably had a men's team.
I can't remember. Just, I
Right.
don't remember, but it was fun, and we were younger, so we weren't driving. Somebody was driving us. But the idea was, here was something that's a bit out of the way.
Yes, and fun.
And fun, and take your bathing suit and go to the ocean, which is always fun.
Well, I'm sure they got some flack for having the women be able to do it, and the men didn't have something, so I'm sure they probably
Yeah, they have
filled
they've
in.
done that.
So,
Now, how, you did that, and that was once a week? There'd be a traveling?
well, there'd be, yes, every Tuesday, but then on Friday sometimes we'd have a rehearsal, and then Monday we'd have a rehearsal.
Oh, okay. So everybody is rehearsing because hopefully they're going to win.
That's right.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yes,
So it's-
and we did. We won some very nice bowls, and our position got raised. And but then we had a robbery here,
oh, I remember
and
fairly recently.
and the some of the bowls are gone.
I think most of them.
Yeah,
Yep.
It's a
And
shame.
I think also that the robbery took place, and then shortly thereafter, whatever the robbers didn't get, they came back to get.
that's right.
So there
that's
were
right.
two almost the same year. And what a tragedy.
Well, it was. Those people really don't know what they did.
Yeah, and to them it's a chunk of silver, but here it was part of the club history.
I'm a hoarder, and I save everything. I probably have all our score sheets and everything. Maybe we should make up a bowl or two.
Yeah, no, very definitely. It's a good thought. Okay, so here's something I didn't ask Ann.
Uh-oh.
And that is, it's on the sheet, so it's not a surprise.
Oh.
Were there any things that went on at the club that maybe shouldn't have been going on, like smoking behind the barn or...
Well, every 4th of July, when we had the fireworks, there always would be some suspects. I mean, some people would sort of disappear over that way of the sand trap, and there was always suspicion that maybe that's what was going on. But basically, I have to say, I think it was very, I don't know. I really don't know what the boys were doing.
Right.
But I think there probably was stuff, absolutely. You couldn't have a club without some activity.
Definitely.
And in Morris County, a group of the boys pushed the lawnmower into the pool.
Ooh, not so good.
Yes, that got into quite a little bit of trouble.
And oil slicks.
Yeah.
Not good.
And so, in all honesty, I think this club was very, very quiet. But then I didn't happen to be a smoker, so I wasn't looking for the little hideaways.
Telltale signs.
I really wasn't. So maybe it was all going on right around me.
Who knows? How about special friends?
Well, everybody, I mean, you were friends with everybody on the team because you really worked as a project together. You were all striving to get better. And Bill Sturgis certainly, he worked us. He made us do exercises, and it was a well-rounded program.
That's great.
It really was, and he got the most from everybody. He really did, which is great.
Now, in your years on the B team, was he the constant? Was he always here, or was there somebody else?
No, he was here a long time, and well, Mr. Banks was first.
Yeah, but then after that.
After that, there was another pro that is driving me crazy, and I'm going to see if I can find it in the files. That there was another man who was wonderful also. His name has skipped my mind, and he was just fabulous. So we've been very lucky as a club.
Now, did you have parties here? I know you eventually had parties at your house. So the B team came at least to gather there. But was there something that went on at the club also for tennis players?
Not for teams.
No, okay.
No.
So that's where your house became special.
Well, that's where we had the B team.
Yeah,
yes,
right.
We did. But it was, it became sort of an institution. What everybody was going to do we had themes for every year.
Okay.
And like one year, one of the clubs sprayed us. The plane was right over when we were in the middle of a point.
No way.
Yes, and a person who will remain unmentioned ran to the ladies' room and wouldn't come out. And then another one did, and the team said, well, we're going to default you. So I had to go and beg them to come out of the ladies' room because we were going to be defaulted, and that wasn't funny.
Was this a color of paint?
No, it was a clear substance against mosquitoes.
Oh my God.
And all of the
DDT.
other things. And people were very nervous that it might have chemicals in it.
Sure, it did.
And so they reacted accordingly, and it became quite a scene. And we had to get some kind of referee, and anyway, we all lived through it.
But that was literally one day when you were playing tennis, during
a match.
Good God. Wow.
Frankly, the club shouldn't have had them spraying on a day like that.
Absolutely not.
But they didn't feel that way, and they said it was nothing, and so it became a little bit of a definite argument.
Now, we mentioned round robins, and you've already mentioned it. So Sunday, that took place. You had tennis practice on Monday. Teams went traveling on Tuesday. So you had a pretty full week.
Yes, you did. You really did. I mean, it was a whole summer program practically.
Neat.
You know. So,
And yet, not just, I mean, at this point, you're single, or are you married, or are you carrying right on? In other words,
no, I was married.
okay.
I was married, and I'm trying to think. Most everybody was.
Okay. I'm just trying to think age-wise.
Yes, yes. No, we all were, and people had to get babysitters. I mean, we didn't allow them to bring the babies
Did
to
they
the
still
club.
have clinics for the kids as they now do?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and they have been a wonderful addition because the kids really learn.
Yeah.
They do it for golf and for tennis.
Next generation.
And they are well attended, and they're also, I mentioned the golf. The golf is right in there too,
Oh,
getting
yeah.
their clinics, and I think they do a wonderful job with the children. They love it. The little ones end up loving it for golf too, not just the tennis.
Oh, absolutely. No,
and it's
dynamite.
young for them. They're 5, 6, some of them.
Well, we've watched some of ours.
Yes.
And the club is about this high and the kid's about that high. And the ball doesn't go too far, but that's all right. They're playing tennis. Of course they are.
And
right?
they're loving it.
And having a good time. Fondest memories. What are your fondest memories of the club?
Oh, my heavens. Everything. I mean, I just loved everything. I never got into the golf as much. I wish I had then. I did later when I married Stretch. I did so that I could go around and play with him.
Yep.
But I hadn't before. I was into riding and the hunt and that kind of stuff, and that took a lot of time.
Sure.
So I really didn't do and I wish I had. I would tell everybody now, start as soon as you can. It's just going to make it more and more fun for you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, definitely.
And this is a wonderful club to do it at because everybody's so kind and patient and everything else. So.
Now, you, I'm sure, have developed special friends from the club, from tennis, from whatever, and you still see them and have a good time?
Yes.
That's
oh, yes.
great.
It's a wonderful, it just is a natural for meeting people. I mean, if you moved here and you didn't know anybody, in a minute you would have friends. Yeah. And that's a very nice feeling because you could come from quite far away and you might be without those friends.
Yeah.
But I don't think you'd last very long because being lonely because of the situation.
Things going on.
Of the people and the things going on and everything else. It's good. And the 4th of July party is not the same. There's no question about it. It's huge and it's wonderful. It's got the fireworks. It's got hot dogs and hamburgers. It's a wonderful celebration. But it used to be you came with your family,
Right.
and there was a piano in this corner, and
dancing was part of it.
And you were dancing with your father or your cousin or something. It was all very tied in, and you can't go back, but it was lovely that way. But now it's a big production and people want to come.
Sure. Well,
So it's a good thing. I mean,
absolutely.
it's very popular.
Now, tell us about the dress.
Ann West and Mimi Curtis drew this for one of the parties, and it's all the players.
So
and
this is one summer, this is the dress.
Yes, this was, we didn't wear it. I mean, it was for me to wear to the party.
Yeah.
But believe me, I wouldn't have gone
No.
too far in it.
But you have caricatures there.
Yes.
Who did the drawings?
Ann West and Mimi Curtis.
Neat.
And you see Ann Reynolds and and Kathy Straza were a team that we never broke up. They looked like each other, they talked like each other, and the people would be so undone by them when they were their opponents that they
They just lost.
they just lost, and they were. I think that's who these are to be, and there's Mary Coggeshall. She was always going somewhere in TWA.
Oh, okay.
And
And phone numbers, just in case you
yes,
forgot where they
yes.
might live.
And anyway, you can see it had a lot of talent
That's neat.
and
That's
a lot of fun. So
Fabulous.
that's kind of famous. There you go.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's a classic.
But it's fun to hear about it, because obviously there are things that went on, and you were part of it, and
That's
how
right.
neat, really.
And it really, I think everybody smiles when they think of their times and different things that happened. And it was good fun for everybody.
But I think it's also part of the club because it's small. And granted, it was smaller when we were doing it, but it still has a family feel to it. So it doesn't have a driveway that's 8 miles long or the parking lot that's 8 miles wide. It's got smaller elements, and that's special because some clubs are vast.
Well, speaking of that, and I want to say that this club, it added more and more clinics and more this and everything else. But I am very lucky. I have my children went to the clinics here and played the tennis and the golf and the whole thing, and now their children are doing it. So that's 3 generations that are enjoying all these
Absolutely.
benefits, and it's really remarkable. And so
Here, here.
I have nothing but wonderful things and memories to say about it.
But thanks for telling us about it, because it's such fun to get it, listen to it, and obviously it's going to be edited, but to pass that along to other people.
Well, that's what I think, and it is so special. It's a little vignette, and you just hope to God it can always be kept. You know.
But thank you.
Well,
very
thank
much.
you for letting me tell people, because I really feel, I feel I've been very, very lucky, and it's nice to pass it on, and I hope everybody that knows about it and hears about it joins it.
As do I.